You're watching Fighting Back, news talk, current events, and political commentary with host Ron Ludders. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. We appreciate you sticking around for Hub Radio. We're almost at the end of the line here for tonight. And, of course, we have on the line Roger Landry. And we're excited. He's served us in the United States Navy, and he is still serving us, because the one thing when you take an oath of office to protect and defend the United States Constitution, there is no time limit on that, ladies and gentlemen. That means the rest of your life you will defend that document, because it is looking out after our interests.
That's right. Speaking of that document, it says specifically that the state legislature is in charge of their own elections in the state. But we seem to have an Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who thinks that the federal government... That's the
United States Attorney General, not
States,
the state of Arizona
right.
Attorney General.
He seemed to think that as the federal government, that he can sic the DOJ on to the states, and he is threatening them. Josh, tell us about that story.
Well, first and foremost, for anyone that may be a legislature that is contemplating doing one of these forensic audits, if you're in any state, Georgia, Florida, Texas, because I know that they're looking at doing the 5 most populated counties. Of course, Wisconsin is starting to heat up. Georgia is in the process. If we could get Michigan to get on the board, of course, Pennsylvania is starting to heat up. Don't be afraid of the Department of Injustice. You know why? Because they can't stop you.
No.
And they have no power. And by the way, who are the people and what branch created the federal government? The state governments.
Yeah.
Okay? So they are subservient to the state governments. So Merrick Garland can shove it. He can send whatever threatening letter he wants. He can shove it, because he doesn't have the plenary power and the constitutional authority to overstep a state's rights to conduct an election and an election audit. So for the folks out there in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and elsewhere, ignore the Department of Injustice 100%. Do your plenary power that you have in the constitutional authority that you've been given, and get these forensic audits done. And don't worry about empty promises and empty threats from the Department of Injustice.
I think what we've been seeing, especially with David Jose the other night, Ray, is that most of us don't know all of our rights.
Right.
And the people that are in office know that, and so they say things, and we think they know what they're... I doubt that most people in the United States Congress, House and Senate, know the Constitution very well.
They may know portions of it, and they may be able to recite it, but do they understand it? That's the big thing.
I doubt it.
Because knowledge and wisdom are two completely different things.
Well, I used to have this great saying, and I'd like to start asking some people, especially Merrick Garland, do you understand what you know? Now, that seems like a silly question, doesn't it? Do you understand what you know? And I don't think they do.
Thank God he was blocked from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, there's a reason. I believe right now our resident-in-chief is running scared, because they know the outcome when they start looking into and auditing these elections. They know what's going to happen, and they will fight tooth and nail to retain that residency in the White House. They're going to do whatever. They're going to say it's too late, you can't do anything about it. But we know, and Josh, you've mentioned this many times, there are a lot of ways.
There are a lot of ways.
Yeah, tell us again about a couple of different ways that we could go.
It honestly, it all depends on the states enacting these forensic kinematic audits, really. The only ones that can stop the state legislatures from performing their constitutional authority is themselves, are the state legislatures. So they cannot be afraid of the Department of Injustice. The reality is, if we can get Arizona completed and done, and we can get, as Wendy Rogers has rightfully pointed out, tell them to recall or decertify the election. Now you have taken those electors and you have parked those electors. Now, never forget, there have been alternate electors selected in, I think it was 7 states to begin with, including New Mexico. So every state that is being contested has alternate electors. If we can get Georgia and Pennsylvania to do these forensic audits, they're going to show the same types of results, if not even worse, and they can then recall their electors. Now, if you can get those 3 states to do that, now nobody is over the 270 threshold. So what happens then? It goes to the House of Representatives, and no, not Nancy's house, the state houses, where they each get 1 vote. Now, even if you had a couple of rhinos, like for instance Michigan or Wisconsin, and they decided, even after seeing all the evidence, that they're still going to go with the Biden pretendency, you would still likely win in the House of Representatives, because I believe it's 30-21 right now, or 30-22. It's pretty close. So even if you lose 2, you're still going to eke out a victory. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it, and again, it all is predicated on getting these audits done. But if we got these audits done and they show the results that we know that they're going to show, then you can file what's known as a writ of quo warranto. A writ of quo warranto is a legal procedure that can be used to remove someone who's been fraudulently elected to office. So that is yet another way. And when Karen Fan said that there was
sorry,
no...
guys.
Huh?
I got to run.
You got to run?
I got to
Okay.
run, guys.
Okay,
Thanks for being on, Roger.
like to thank you, Roger, for being here. We'll talk soon. And thanks for
All right,
all
and
you.
thank you for the invite.
Thanks for
And
all you
Roger-
do. You're a real patriot, sir.
That's Roger from tlbtalk.com. Stop over there, a brand new format that you can freely talk without anybody shutting you down.
So let me just finish up where I was. So you can use that to remove someone who's been fraudulently elected. And as I was saying, Karen Fan said that there's never been historical or legal precedent before. That's not true. 1960 in Hawaii, the 1960 presidential election between JFK and Richard Nixon. At first, Richard Nixon came ahead 115 votes. There was a court-ordered recount. It turns out that JFK won the state of Hawaii by 141 votes. And guess what? They did change and pull back the electors. So there is historical precedent. It has been done.
Ron, this is the brilliance of our founding fathers, because it's not, when you vote, you don't actually vote for the candidate, you vote in the presidential
And that's
race.
right. We are not a democracy.
Right.
We are
Constitutional
a
republic, if we can keep
republic.
it.
Right. So they're voting for the electors. You must reach a threshold of, you said, 270
Right.
electoral votes. If you get below that, then there isn't anybody elected,
Right.
and the Constitution states it must go back to the state legislatures.
Correct.
1 vote for each state.
Correct. So
Exactly.
California gets 1 vote, New Jersey gets 1 vote, Arizona gets 1 vote, everybody gets 1 vote.
How about Rhode Island?
Rhode Island wouldn't even get one.
Hawaii?
Wouldn't even get one.
I think
would all get 1 vote.
I think they get
So,
1/3 vote.
Maybe,
Just a small
perhaps.
state. Any rate,
But that's how it works.
You've
That's how
been
it
been
works.
watching
That's
Fighting
the
Back. Now
brilliance.
I want to promote the show tomorrow night. We have the Jay Lawrence show, and we got to have it. That's going to be a good one because we're going to have Mark Fincham on.
Right.
And he's
Awesome.
he's
Great
been
guy.
very involved with this with the audit, and he's running for Secretary of State. And then Monday's going to be a real Donnybrook because we have asked Jack Sellers to be a guest on this show, and then we've asked Senator Kelly Townsend, who is a real rough and tough gal. I'll tell you, we're not going to take any prisoners. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Josh Bernstein.
Yes.
Mr. Ray Michaels, thank you. And
Josh
we'd like to
Bernstein,
thank one time-
Uncensored.com.
There you go. And one more time, we'd like to thank Roger, and try his website. Give it a shot.
TLBtalk.com.
And do you remember what President Trump said when he was in town? Wendy Kelly Borelli.
Wendy
Kelly
Borelli. There
Borelli.
you go.
Yes. And so we'll see you Monday.